everyone, I hope you are doing well. Myself Kuhu Sarkar, and this is the fourth part of the series Mega Revision of Indian English Literature. So here, if you watch my third video, you can see that I had started Vijay Tendulkar and I did some of his works. I discussed some of his some summaries of his works, and so I could not complete the whole summary or the whole work of Vijay Tendulkar. So I will start from him, and today I will start from his work Kanyadan. So if you did not watch my previous video, you should know that I had already started a series where I talked about Indian ancient writers and how English came in our India, and then important writers and their important works, and this is the fourth part. So let's start with Kanyadan by Vijay Tendulkar. Kanyadan it was sorry Kanyadan, it was published 1983. It depicts the life of Dalit boy who marries a girl from higher sector of society. Jyoti. Jyoti, a young man, is the principal character in this play, and she is the daughter of Nath Devarkar and Seva. They belong to urban middle class Brahmin family. Nath is an MLA and Seva, who is social worker, is always busy in social service. Jyoti has one brother who is studying MSc. Jyoti takes a decision to marry Arun Atwale, a Dalit young man who writes poetry. She has met him in the society's study group, and he is poor but eloquent. Jyoti informs her parents' brother that she decided to marry Arun. Her father agrees at once because his dream is casteless society, so he agrees with this marriage. For that reason, for that he has been working. Seba is shocked. Seba speaks about possible consequences, and Jyoti dismisses her mother's fears by saying that she can manage. Seba's character proves that, in spite of modern thought, she thinks like a traditional mother who takes caste, background, and attitude and character in economic position of the bridegroom. Seba and her son oppose at first, but they also agreed for the marriage. So here we can see the girl want to marry a Dalit caste, a lower caste person, and his father believing in not believing in caste discrimination, so he agrees with the marriage, but but her mother and brother did not agree with this marriage, but they anyhow they agree at the end. Jyoti gets married to Arun, but later Arun comes home every night taking alcohol and beats Jyoti as illiterates do the backward society. Unable to bear this torture, Jyoti comes her maternal home from Arun to return him. So unable to bear this torture, Jyoti comes her maternal home from Arun, not to return him. She thought not to return him. It deals with the theme of social upliftment, underlying chaotic consequences for the disturbing of the existing social equations. Jyoti, a girl for upper section of society, decides to marry a Dalit boy, Arun Jatwali, in spite of Jaiprakash and her brother and mother Seba's resistance, but he proves to be a violent husband. Jyoti's father, Devalikar, is a man of progressive ideas, and as he was no green against Jyoti's ideas of marrying a Dalit boy. When Jyoti, being able to adjust with her husband, comes back to her maternal home, Seba is stunned, but he considered it as an individual's choice. So her mother stand by see that her daughter came back, returned home, but her father take it as her own choice. So Jyoti's futile attempt to bridge gap between two communities teaches her the gap is natural and everlasting, and attempts not on the part of human beings to disturb nature results is as great disaster. But after some times, Arun realizes his mistake and goes to Jyoti begging to come back to his home and chopped off his hand. Being asked by Seba the reason behind beating Jyoti. So when Jyoti's mother Seba asked asked Jyoti's husband, her son-in-law, that why he beat her girl, he said that he tells that he has looked his father beating his mother since childhood, and it is in his psychology, because he belonging to this lower caste family, and it is in his psychology. He grown up by looking this kind of situations. So he is also thinking that I can also beat my wife. Jyoti, knowing all those tries to act her free will, failing to consequences, understand that these words change Jyoti and she goes back to Arun. Thus, Arun misuses power to exhibit violence. So that's how Arun does not change, but he act like that, and he took her back, and he just misuse his poverty, misuse his class to exhibit his violence. Then the next writing is Encounter in Ambagland. It is a political allegory, was produced in 1974. The play opens the celebrating organized on the 60th anniversary of the coronation of King Vichitrivirya. So on the occasion, the king delivers a speech expressing concern about his successor to the throne. The king prefers to become hermit after surrendering power, and he is old, and he has been advised rest. The king died. After the death of the king, there was a political crisis in the state, because there was no consensus among the five ministers on the issue of the succession of the crown. Finally, they made a resolution to give the responsibility of the state to the Princess Vijaya, who was weak, feeble, and ignorant. They wanted to make her a puppet queen. So, this is all about Encounter the Ambagland. Then, Princess Vijaya is fond of her attendant and enough, and she appoints him as her chief advisor. From him, she has learned the ways and tricks of politics. Instead of being a puppet in the hands of minister, she made a direct interaction with people. This attempt of Vijaya created confusion and discontent among the minister, because its reputation increased, and in her public cabinet ministers tried to arrange a rebellion against her, but they eventually have no guards. Ministers comprehend that she is a born dictator, thereby surrendering meekly to her authority. The play ends with the grand reception awaiting the queen due to the royal victory she scores over her cabinet ministers. Then our next works is A Friend's Story. Mitra is the central character of the play. She is endowed with with masculine personality. She is the victim of physical hormonal imbalance. She grows and she realizes that she is different from others. It brings stubbornness, and in her personality, she develops a rebellious attitude toward the conventions of society. She develops friendship with Bapu. It brings consolation in her. Bapu is attracted by her boldness, but he fails to stir her femininity. So, because she was a homosexual. So homosexual, she was a homosexual and develops infatuation for Nama, another girl. Nama's attraction becomes a passion in her life, and in spite of all warnings of Bapu, she fails to resist herself. Nama was frightened of the power of Mitra and exerted over her and surrendered to her overtures easily. Bapu too was forced to allow them to use his room, and Nama tried her best to get out of the intricate affair. So at the end, what happened? So here you can see that Mitra is a homosexual girl and she had an affair with Nama. She, you can say that she forcefully tried to be with her, and though Bapu at the first time Bapu likes her, but at the end Bapu realized that she is a homosexual and she likes Nama, but Nama tried to go get out of this situation. So when Nama's marriage was arranged with somebody in Calcutta, Mitra's has rage. So when Nama's marriage was arranged with somebody in Calcutta, Mitra's rage was beyond control. She traveled to Kolkata where she was failing to meet Nama and she committed suicide. So this is a friend story. Then his Fifth Woman, it was published in 1972. This is the only play by the author that is written originally in English. It is prequel to Tendulkar's play Sakharam Binder that was published in 1972. The man giving shelter to the destitute women is called Sakharam Binder. A man in his 40s, these helpless women are projected as the live-in mistress of Sakharam, who is a bachelor. The title leaves sufficient scope of thought for have preceded her and several may follow. The play portrays two friends Sakharam and Daud in conversation with each other, sitting near the mistress of one of them. Fifth woman lying on her deathbed, a destitute pick-up from streets. Sakharam provides food and exploits her physically. Dawood, Sakharam's friend, has sympathetic attitude towards the destitute women, and so he wants the proper burial to the mistress of Sakharam. In this play, Tendulkar tries to investigate the condition that flourishes the life after death. The dramatist raises some relevant question on the issue of morality and necessity of compassion through the play. The message conveyed focused on the fact that those claiming to uphold the law strictly are in reality tyrannical hypocrites. Real justice results out of compassion and love, not for hypocrisy, autocracy, and selfishness. Sakharam is conscious of his responsibility towards the patient and even towards the society. He becomes philosophical, expresses his faith that all the accounts of human actions are to be settled in other world. The idea of emotional modification and justification of human existence after death make this play unique in its own way. Its metaphysical structure echoes the vision of Tagore's play The King of Dark Chambers. Then the next play, or you can say the last play, it is 2000. It was published in 2002. The play analyzes three journeys: an actual global journey by the protagonist, the historical journey by the bicycle, the historical journey of the bicycle about its different phases of manufacturer, and the psychic journey of the cyclist submerging consciousness character into his the central and enthusiastic youth, and sets up an itinerary around the world of his bicycle. So the protagonist and his bicycle, there are three phase. First is the protagonist psychology, the cycles, you can say the cycle psychology and how it's got changed, transformed, and the physical journey of the protagonist. So Specific names of the places and locations are kept hidden, and the idea conveyed being that the young man endeavors escaping from his present location, looking forward to visiting distant lands, towering to exotic places, enabling him to meet a large number and different variety of people and route. Here, the cycle symbolizes progress in spite of the various encountered on the way. Similarly, the cyclist obstacles wades through several difficult situations while traveling ahead, compulsively probing into human discovery, the nature, extreme, and dehumanization that has set in. Hence, the journey is not merely physical but equally metaphysical in nature. The play exalts a breath of existentialism with a positive inference that the stoic stubbornness leads to success and that for a determined person life has no misery. It won 1996 Commonwealth Writers Prize for Best First Book. So it's similarly the cycle obstacles wades through similar difficulty situation while traveling ahead, compulsively probing into human, discovering the nature and extreme dehumanization that has set in this play. So okay, maybe something missing. So Sanjay is the protagonist. The main story revolves around the time and early colonial India to modern America, love and longing in Bombay. It is a unique collection of fifth lengthy story for which he won Commonwealth Writer Prize for Best Book. This novel is set against the backdrop of a smoky Bombay bar known as the Fisherman's Rest. The contains five stories that are narrated by Subramaniam, who is retired civil servant. So the name of the story collection is Longing in Bombay. Okay, sorry, maybe I could not add the name there. Okay, now our next writer is You Are Anantamurthy. Here is a picture of U.R. Anantamurthy. So let's know more about him. So U.R. Anantamurthy was a prominent Indian writer and critic in Kannada language, known for his contribution to modern Indian literature, his active involvement in socio-political issues. Born on December 21, 1932 in Melij, a small village in Karnataka. He was the leading figure of Nabhaya movement in Kannada literature. His works are known for their deep philosophical undertones, critique of traditional social structures. So let's know about his literary works. First will be Anantamurthy's over includes novels, short stories, essays, poems, and many of which addresses the complexities of Indian society, particularly the tension between tradition and modernity. Samskara is his famous work, and Samskara is his most famous work and a landmark in Kannada literature. And there is also a film where Girish Karnad acted. So the Girish Karnad was the protagonist there, acted as the protagonist. So the novel is set in a traditional Brahmin community, explores the theme of orthodoxy, morality, and social change. So the story is beautiful. You can watch it and you can read the whole summary. It tells the story of Pranescharya, a respected Brahmin scholar and who faces a moral dilemma following the death of a renegade Brahmin, Naranappa. So Naranappa was a Brahmin who did not follow the societal rule, who drink alcohol, eat meat, and who was also go to prostitute. And there is another respected Brahmin who is Pranescharya, who is the protagonist here, and he follows all the rule and all the things. Naranappa spent his life luxuriously, and when he died, it is said that it is become a argument that what we will do with his dead body. So some Brahmins said that we could not give him a proper, we could not give him a proper grave, because or proper the rituals we could not give him, because he spent his life luxuriously. So this is all about the story, and the novel was adapted into an acclaimed film in 1970s. It was translated by the renowned poet A.K. Ramanujan in 1978. Then his next writing is work is the novel Bharatipura. So Bharatipura, it was published in 1973. This novel examines the rigid caste system in India through the story of Jagannatha, a young man who returns to his village after studying abroad with the intention of challenging the social order. It critically looks at the deeply entrenched social hierarchies and the resistance to change. Then Avasati. Avasati, it was published in 1978. Avasthi delves into the political landscape of Karnataka and the personal struggles of its protagonist Krishnappa Krishnappa Gowda, a political grappling with his principles and the corrupt political environment. The novel offers a nuanced portrayal of the complexities of the political life. Then Bhava. Bhava, it was published in 1994. Bhava explores the theme of identity, existential angst through the lives of its character, and reflecting Anantamurthy's deep engagement with philosophical questions. Then Divya, it was published in 2001. The novel addressed the issues of gender and spirituality, focusing on the protagonist's journey through self-realization and liberation from social constraints. Then our next important writer, as you see, that he is V.S. Naipaul. He is also a Booker Prize winner writer and also Sahitya Academy, own Sahitya Academy. Okay, so V.S. Naipaul, he was born in 1932 and died in 2018. Was a Trinidadian British writer known for his novel and works of non-fiction that often explores the themes of colonialism, identity, displacement, and cultural disintegration. Born in Trinidad or to Indian parents, he later moved to United Kingdom and became the most prominent writers of the 20th century. Naipaul was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2001 for his extensive body of work. Okay, so his important work, A House for Mr. Biswas, and it was also in our syllabus. So it was published in 1961. One of Naipaul's most celebrated novel, this book tells the story of Mohan Biswas, an Indo-Trinidadian man who strives to build a home and secure his independence. The novel is noted for its detailed portrayal of Indian community life in Trinidad and its exploration of themes such as colonialism, personal struggles, and self-identity. So the whole story is about how this protagonist Mohan Biswas want to build his own house, and his whole life was spent because of that. But at the end, he is a failure. He could not build his own house. So it shows that how the protagonist fails, and how our dreams also fails, and it also shows the post-colonial things, post-colonial theme, and personal struggle and identity in a free state. So it was published in 1971. For this novel, he won the Booker Prize. This novel won Booker Prize in 1971. It consists of framing of narrative, two short stories that delve into the lives of expatriates, the complexities of freedom into post-colonial societies. The book's exploration of displacement and alienation resonated deeply with readers and critics alike. Okay. So there are multiple layers in this text. But if I can make a video of the Booker Prize writings, you can see the summary. So there are multiple stages in of this book, and there are complexities of freedom in post-colonial societies. Then the Enigma of Arrival, it was published in 1987. This semi-autobiographical novel reflects on Naples' own experience as an immigrant writers in England. It is a meditative work that contemplates themes of exile, belonging, and passage of time. The novel is considered one of the most introspective and literary works. Then A Bend in the River. So it was published in 1979, set in an unnamed African country. The novel follows Salim, an Indian merchant, and he navigates the complexities of post-colonial Africa. The book examines themes of political instability, cultural clashes, and lingering effects of colonialism. It is often compared to Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness for its dark and incisive portrayal of Africa. Then Miguel Street, it was published in 1959, a collection of linked short stories in Trinidadian slum. This story captures the lives of residents of Miguel Street with humor and poignancy. Each story focuses on a different character, painting a vivid picture of community's life and the struggle of the poor and marginalized. Then the Mimic Man, it was published in 1967. You should know the summaries of detailed summaries of all his works, and this is very much interesting. His works are very much interesting. So now I am just giving you a little summary, one line summary. Okay. So the novel explores the life of Ralph Singh, a former colonial politician living in exile in London. Through Singh's reflection at his past in Caribbean, Naples examines themes of identity, power, and impact of colonialism on individual lives. Then let's see his important non-fiction works. So as I said that he won Sahitya Academy award. Maybe I was wrong, so I have to check it. So he was a Nobel laureate, and he also won the Booker Prize for his work A Free State. Okay, it was published in 1971, and it was also won the prize, Booker Prize of 1971. Okay, let's see his next work, non-fiction works. First will be An Area of Darkness. It was published in 1964. The first book in Naples' Indian trilogy. This travelogue recounts his first visit to India, the land of his ancestors. The book is deeply personal exploration of India's complex social and cultural landscape. Then the next is India and Wounded Civilization. It was published in 1977. The second book in the trilogy, it offers a critical analysis of India's post-colonial state, focusing on the country's cultural and political challenges. Then India, a millionary million minutes now. So please note down his important works, because they will ask you the important works only. So you should note down the important work. The final book in the trilogy, so India and a million minutes now, it was published in 1990. The final book in the trilogy, this work examines the various social, religious, and political upheavals in contemporary India, providing a comprehensive look at the country's diversity and struggles. Then, Among the Believers, an Islamic Journey, 1981. The travelogue explores the Islamic revival in Iran, Pakistan, Malaysia, Indonesia. Naifal provides an outsider's perspective on the impact of Islamic fundamentalism on these societies. Then, Beyond Belief, Islamic excursions among the converted peoples in 1998, a sequel to Among the believers, the book continues Naipaul's exploration of the Islamic world, focusing on the lived experience of Muslims in various countries. B.S. Naipaul's work are characterized by their incisive observation, narrative complexity, unflinching examination of the human condition, making him a pivotal figure in post-colonial literature. So that is the end of V.S. Naipaul, and now we are going to do Anita Desai. Anita Desai, she is a famous writer. So Anita Desai is an Indian novelist born 24th June in 1937. She is a popular known as a novelist, short story writer, screenwriter, as well as children's writer. She was born on 24th June in 1937 at Mussoorie. She considered Clear Light of Day in 1980. Her most autobiographical work, so Clear Lights of Day, her most autobiographical work, and it is for this novel he is famous. She is famous. Sorry. So Desai published her novel Cry the Peacock. It was published in 1963. She received Sahitya Academy Award in 1978 for her novel Fire on the Mountain. So she received Sahitya Academy Award in 1978 for her novel Fire on the Mountain. 3 books of Anita Desai has been shortlisted for the Booker Prize, which is Clear Light of the Day. In Clear Light of the Day, it was published in 1980, In Custody 1984, Fasting Feasting 1999. So please note down these writings publication dates, because they asked many times to arrange it in chronological order, and they also asked that for which novel she got the Sahitya Academy Award, and for which novel she got the Booker Prize. So she did not got any Booker Prize. So there are some statement wise question where they ask that for which novel she got the Booker Prize. It is her daughter Kiran Desai who got the Nobel Prize. Okay, sorry, she got the Booker Prize for Inheritance of Loss. Then, so her mother, Anita Desai, did not got the Booker Prize. Her daughter Kiran Desai won the Booker Prize for Inheritance of Loss. So she won the British Guardian Prize for The Village by the Sea, and Padma Bhushan in 2014 for the Cry the Peacock. Okay, sorry. So she got Padma Bhushan also, not for any work, because Padma Bhushan was not given for any particular work. So now see her works one by one. First, Cry the Peacock. It was published 1963. Then Voice in the City 1965. So first will be The Village by the Sea. So The Village by the Sea will be first, because it was published in 1952. Then after the Cry the Peacock. So you can remember it in that way, that The Village by the Sea, you went to the village by the sea, to the village, and then you see hear the Cry of the Peacock, which was published in 1963. So you think that it is the voice of the city, it is the voice in the city. Then you told the peacock that bye bye blackbird in 1971, and you went to the Peacock Garden in 1974. Where shall we go in this summer 1975? So you went there and you think that where we will go to this summer. Then you saw Cat on a Houseboat, which was published in 1976. Then you saw that Fire on the Mountain 1977, Games at Twilight 1978, Clear Light of the Day 1980s, In Custody 1984, Baumgartner's Bombay 1988, Journey to Ithaca 1995, Fasting Feasting 1999, The Zigzag Way 2004, The Artist of Disappearance 2011. So You can remember it in that way that you went to a village by the sea. There you see there you heard a cry of the peacock, which you assume that it is the voice in the city. And then you, when you went and you did tata bye bye to the blackbird, and you went to the peacock garden, and then you think that where shall we go to this summer. Then you saw a cat on a houseboat. The cat was going to the fire on the mountain to rescue the mountain from fire. And then you want to play games at twilight, and because the clear light, it was the clear light of the day, but then they took you in custody where you meet Bombay Martiners Bombay, and who is coming by a journey to Ithaca, and he is fasting or feasting because he was come there through this zigzag way, and he is the artist of disappearance. So in that way you can remember it. So she examines the nature of pilgrimage to India in her journey to Ithaca in 1995. Then let's see the work Cry the Peacock. So it was published in 1963. Anita Desai's Cry the Peacock has been considered as the of first step in the direction of psychological fiction in Indian writing in English. Maya is the protagonist and Gautama is her husband. Maya was grown up with love and care of her parents and soon married to Gautama. The marriage was not fruitful and she turned into an insane. Then the next writing, Boys in the City, 1965. This is the story of siblings Amla, Nirod and Monisha and their ways life to Kolkata. Then Bye Bye Blackbird, it was published in 1971. It is the background of the story is set in England. The novel clearly explores the feelings and sufferings of the Indians at that place. The book is divided into three parts. First is arrival, discovery and recognition and departure. Discovery and recognition and departure. Blackbird is used in the title in some. It's none another than the immigrant whom London says goodbye. Desai highlights the physical and psychological problems of Indian immigrants and explores the adjustment difficulties that they face in England. Bye Bye Blackbird explores the lives of outsiders seeking to forge a new identity in an alien society. Dave arrives in England for higher studies and he stays with Adit Sen and his English wife, Sarah. Dave gives up the idea of studying and starts looking for a job. Unable to find any, he thinks returning to India. But it is well settled. Adit, who decided to leave London. Meanwhile, Dave manages to find a job and stays back. In this novel, the common problem of England, racism, has shown widely. He hates being called a wag and as an Indian are humiliated in public and private places. England is said to be full of Asians, but Dave's visit to the countryside changes his attitude towards England. Then Fire on the Mountain, it was published in 1977. It is a beautiful story. So the story sets at the backdrop of Simla Hills. Nanda Kaul, an elderly lady, decides to live a secluded life in Charignano in Kasuli. She spends all her life in the care of others and her three daughters and husband. She never gets time to feel for herself. Her own choice and her own world was gone somewhere. One day, Nanda receives a letter from her daughter Asa asking her to take care of her daughter and great granddaughter Raka. And after getting this letter, she was feeling angry. Disappointment of loathing arises in her. She is just not bothered about the worldly matters. Raka comes in Nanda's life and things start changing in different way. So this is a beautiful story. You can watch it. Watch the summary in YouTube. Then the Zigzag Way. It was published in 2004. The novel is about an American academic and writer who goes with his girlfriend to Mexico, rediscovers his passion for fiction writing. Fasting Feasting, published in 1999, it was shortlisted for the Booker Prize for Fiction in 1999. The novel is in two parts. The first part is set in India and is focused on the life of Uma, who is the overworked daughter of her parents. Finally, she is made to leave school and serves her parents. The story focuses on the life of the unmarried main characters and Uma, who is a spinster, the family's older daughter, with Arun, the boy and baby of the family. Then Ramu Bhai, a traveling bon voyeur who tries to show Uma a good time, he is banished by her parents. Meera Masi tells Uma that all the tales of Krishna and takes her to the ashram, allowing her to escape her mother's domination for a time. Uma's parents attempt to marry her on two occasions. On the first occasion, the chosen man fell for Uma's younger sister Aruna. On the second occasion of a marriage took place, but it turns to Uma's new husband already has a wife. So Anamika, Uma's cousin, fails to please her husband by providing children. Eventually, she dies by burning. In part 2, we see that Arun is introduced in America and is unable to adjust the culture different from his own. He finds himself lost. Two cultures are explored in this text, and the American Indian and where the American and Indian sorry the American and Indian. Then the next writing is Where Shall We Go to This Summer? It was published in 1975. So Sita is the protagonist of the story. Sita feels frustration for suffocating four walls in scene, taking refuge from her marriage at the utopian land of a magic island. Pregnant with her fifth child, Sita therefore desperately takes a refuge from the mundane realities of marriage to the island, which happens to be the homestead of deceased father. The catastrophe of the story lies where Sita is perturbed with the very idea of bringing another child, as it is indeed something more than what she can handle. She physically escapes to the island and hopes to remain pregnant forever with the baby. So you can see that how she became desperate because she was going to give birth of her fifth child, and she feels that how she have to always remain pregnant forever with a baby. Then our next writing is In Custody. It was published in 1984. It was shortlisted for Booker Prize 1984. So Deven Sharma, as he is a Hindi professor in Midpur. So Murad, a friend of Deven who owns a publishing house in Delhi. Noor, a famous Urdu poet who laments the loss of beautiful language, Urdu language, therefore a culture. So here you can see that Deven Sharma was a Hindi professor and he was very much fascinated with with the famous poet Noor, and he has respect for the poet. But when he went to the poet's house to take a interview of the Urdu poet, he realized that how his life was going and how in poverty he was spent his life. He was now spending his life. So Jane is the shop owner who gives Deven a second hand tape recorder for his interview and sent his nephew Chintu with him to assist. So Deven earns a living by teaching Hindi literature to an uninterested college students, because here you can see that how this language is dying, how the Urdu language is dying, and how that you can see that Hindi language is also dying, because Hindi literature, he taught Hindi literature to the uninterested college students, as his true interest he lie in Urdu poetry, because his true interest lie in Urdu poetry. He jumps at the chance to meet the great poet, Urdu poet Noor. He buys a tape recorder to conduct an interview with Noor as suggested by his friend Murad. When he meets Noor, he refuses to give an interview by saying that Urdu is now at its last stage, and soon this beautiful language will not exist. Devan not only has recording but also has to bear the expense like payment demanded by the poet's wife. So you can see that how the poet's wife become greedy, because maybe the poverty she is facing, right? So she want money, she want money for this interview, and therefore they will have to give her money, and he have to bear the expense to take the interview, like payment demanded by poet's wife, nephew of Jane. Okay, then Bombard's Bob Martin's Bombay. It is a beautiful story, and it was published in 1988. Bombard is a Jewish boy who comes to see India. The story depicts the Bombay is seen through Bombarton's eyes. Bombarton's Bombay opens with a lady called Lotte, feeling the scene of a murder. She is just lost a close friend, Hugo Baumgartner. When she gets back home, all that is left of Baumgartner's life are a few postcards sent by his mother during the Second World War. Consequently, the story proceeds towards the life of Hugo Baumgartner. The story starts with the childhood in Berlin. At the age of about 8, his father, a Jewish furniture retailer, loses his business. The Nazis ransack his story, and he is taken to a concentration camp. Baumgartner and his mother forced to leave their beautifully furnished apartment and hide in the former office of the shop. At school, also Baumgartner's situation becomes unbearable. His relation with friends become worst. Eventually, his survival in Germany becoming a matter of days. His mother agrees to her fulfills ideas to send his son to India. Since he has a few connections there in the furniture production business, he makes living in India until his Indian supporter dies. After that, at an early age, he plunges into poverty. He never get over the death of his mother, who refused to emigrate because she don't want to come to India with him. He is totally a passive personality whose one joy is caring for stray cats in small apartment. Not only is he a dull protagonist, but also Desai withholds the few interesting parts of his life until towards the end. The author may be investigating bigger themes by looking at the world and the Indian society through the eyes of such a character, arouse some Baumgarten's feelings of empathy in the whole story. The sight, sound, and smells of Calcutta, Bombay become the prominent along with Hugo. These are the positive points of the story, and moving to the life of this pathetic and insignificant man, Baumgartner, who does belong neither to Hitler's Germany nor to the Indian society. In India, he is eternal Firangi, foreigner, wounded survivor. Then our The Village by the Sea, and so it is a story of an Indian family. It is based on poverty, hardship, and sorrow faced by a small rural community in India. Set in a small village called Thul in western India, the main protagonists are Leela, the eldest child, who is 13 years old, and her 12-year-old brother Hari. Bella and Kamal are younger sisters. Hari and Leela have managed the family as their father was a drunkard and their mother was ill. Although their father was earning money, he used to spend to it to buy alcoholic materials. Leela is left alone to take care of her family and struggles to do so. Next to their heart, there is a large country house called Mont Repose, which is owned by the De Silvas from Bombay, and whenever they come to on holiday in Thul, Leela and Harry can earn some extra money by helping with the household and doing work in the garden. But there is a rumor in the village saying that the large fertilizer factory will replace the and rich field and the coconut groves very soon. The government chose the location of Thul for its closeness to the port of Brevas. So new highways and railways where liners are to be built by the and the villagers were worried about their future. Harry leaves to Bombay to work, and Harry is new to the city, and Jaggu pities him, gives him a job to work in his restaurant. There Hari builds a strong friendship with Mr. Panwala, the lovable watch repair, ding dong watch shop. He even gives Harry a vivid and inspiring future, teaches him watch mending. Harry realizes that he could actually make a career as a watchmaker. After some time, Harry returns to his village and shares his experience with his sisters. They make a plan to start a new business in their village with the money saved and brought by Harry. At as the novel ends, the traveler highlights Harry and the sisters' resolve to adapt and change in this growing and ever developing world. Then, Clear Light of the Day. Desai considers Clear Light of the Day for most autobiographical work. The novel is split into four sections. The story centers on Das family. It starts with Tara, the wife of Bakul, India's ambassador to America, greeting her sister Bimla, who is a history teacher living in Old Delhi. Their conversation eventually comes to Raja, their brother who lives in Hyderabad. In part 2 of the novel, the setting switches to partition era India when the characters are adolescents in what is now Bhim's house. Raja is severely ill with tuberculosis and is left to Bhim's ministrations. Aunt Mira's Masi, their supposed caretaker after the death of their children's often absent parents. You can see that there are some siblings, and now Bhim is the unmarried girl of the house, and they took and the boy of the family Raja is already married and married with a girl, and he left the house, and it is Bhim who have the in charge of the family, who is the in charge of the family now. So the Miramasi, they took care of them because their parents were absent in their childhood, becomes an alcoholic and dies of alcoholism. Their parents earlier fascination with Urdu, Raja's attraction, the attention of the family of Muslim landlord Haidar Ali, whom Raja idolizes. As he heals, Raja follows Haidar Ali to Hyderabad. Tara escapes from the situation through a marriage to Bakul. So Tara escapes from the situation by marriage. In part, Bhim, Raja and Tara depicted in pre-partition India awaiting the birth of the brother Baba. So Baba is a, you can see the Baba is an handicapped boy, and though he was a grown up man, but he is still in his childhood. Raja is fascinated with poetry and he shares a close bond with Bhim, the head girl at school. So Bhim and Raja have a good relationship. So Bhim and Raja have a good relationship, and they both they in their childhood you can see that they both want to be a, Bhim want to be a heroine, Raja want to be a hero. And they are Tara who think that I don't have any skills like that. They too to get reciting poetry, they too acting dramas. So Tara is a, you can say that a timid girl, a simple girl, and she think that I cannot be like them. But sometimes later what happened, Raja idealize a Muslim family who lives in their neighbor, who were their neighbor, and he also married these Muslims poets daughter, and he left the house, and Bhim became alone. Bhim could not marry, and Tara tried to escape from the situation and by marriage, and he went to USA, and there Bhim have to take care of the house and have to take care of the of her brother Baba also, who is a mentally handicapped. The head girl, so Bhim was the head girl at school. Although they often exclude Tara, so they always exclude Tara. They said that you are not like us. Tara wants to be a mother, and although this fact brings ridicule from Raja and Bhim, who wants to be a hero and heroine respectively. The final section returns to modern India and showcase Tara's confronting Bhim over the Raja's daughter's wedding, and Bhim's broken relationship with Raja. So Raja left the house and left his responsibilities also. So the situation came when Raja's daughter is going to wed, and Bhim did not have a good relationship with Raja now, and the Tara came for the marriage, for the wedding. And the climax, this climax when Bhim explodes at Baba. After her anger fades, she comes to the conclusion that the love of family is irreplaceable, and can calm or all can cover all wrongs. So Raja did wrongs, and Bhim at the end, because she loves her brother so much, so at the end she forgives him. So after Tara leaves, she decides to go to her neighbors, the Mishras, for the concert, and she is touched by the unremarkable relationship they seem have. She tells Tara to come back from the wedding with Raja and forgives him. The novel tells not just the story of the separation family, but also a nation. So that will be the end of the video, because the time is already it is 1 hour. So if I go long, the video will cut. So thank you for giving your time, and if you like this video, please watch my next videos also, and please like, comment and share.